My car was already halfway off the ground when the tow truck's winch tightened the front tires, lifting inch by inch, slow and deliberate, like someone testing how far they could push a lie before it snapped. She stood there in the street, arms folded, smiling at my driveway as if she'd finally claimed it. And right as the cable went taut, a voice cut through the air, flat and unmistakably official. "Ma'am, step back." Who told this driver he could hook a vehicle on private property? 2 weeks earlier, none of this existed. No tow truck, no red paint, no fake authority smiling in my face. 2 weeks earlier, I bought this house for one reason above all others. It was not in an HOA. I checked everything. Title clean, survey clean. No dues, no committees, no meetings in beige rooms arguing about grass height. Just property lines and peace. That was the dream anyway. The first crack showed up during something completely ordinary. An appliance delivery. 2 guys wrestling a refrigerator off the back of a truck backing up to the curb in front of my place. I was inside cutting open boxes, still smelling that mix of cardboard and new paint, when I heard a sharp voice outside. Not loud, not yelling. Confident. Certain. The kind of voice that assumes obedience before it ever asks for it. "You can't block that curb," she said. I stepped out and saw her for the first time. Mid-50s maybe. Pastel athletic wear that looked permanently clean. Sunglasses pushed up into her hair. And a lanyard around her neck with a badge swinging on it, like a badge automatically turned opinions into laws. "This is an HOA emergency access lane," she continued, pointing at the curb like it had personally offended her. I remember blinking just once, trying to line that statement up with reality. "This isn't an HOA," I said, "and that's my curb." She smiled, not friendly, controlled. "Karen Howard," she said, tapping the badge. "HOA President, Clearview Hills." I felt something tighten in my chest. Not fear exactly, more like irritation mixed with disbelief. "Not my HOA," I said. "Not my lane." She leaned in slightly, the way people do when they think proximity adds authority. "Community emergency access standards apply to everyone." There it was. The trick. Say it like it's already law. Say it like arguing would be unreasonable. I didn't argue. I pulled my phone out and started recording, not making a show of it, just letting the camera exist. "Say your name again," I said, "and repeat that." She did. Gladly. She loved being recorded. She loved the performance of power. While she talked, my camera caught the badge, her exact words, the unmarked curb, my house number. When she finally turned away, satisfied she'd asserted herself, I took 2 wide photos. Truck parked legally, no red paint, no signs, time stamped, boring, unarguable. That night she tried something else, something heavier. A city notice appeared on my door. Notice of violation, fire lane obstruction, case number, re-inspection date. It was written in that tone cities use when they want you scared but compliant. I called the number at the bottom and asked the clerk to read the complaint description back to me. She did word for word, and I could practically see Karen's fingerprints on it. "Resident refuses to comply with community emergency access standards." I paused. "Those words are in the complaint?" I asked. "Yes, sir." "Community standards. HOA language." I wrote down the clerk's name, the time of the call, the intake timestamp. Then I asked the one question that mattered. "Do you have an actual fire lane designation for this address?" There was a pause. Typing. "I don't see one," she said. I asked for the inspector's name and email. Hung up. Sent a short message. No emotion. No accusations. Just a question asking for the legal basis of a fire lane designation at my address. 10 minutes later, a reply came back. No designation visible in the system. They'd verify on site. I saved the email as a PDF and started a folder. Evidence beats anger. Always. Karen didn't wait for the inspection. She needed something that looked official from a distance. The next morning, a bright orange HOA sticker was slapped on my garage door. Emergency access. Do not obstruct. Branding. Mark the target. Let the neighbors assume guilt. I peeled it off carefully, stuck it to white paper, photographed the tiny vendor print at the bottom, and bagged it like evidence. because that's what it was. Friday was when she crossed from nuisance into trespass. I heard scraping outside and stepped onto the porch to see two contractors laying cones. One rolled red paint along the curb in front of my house. The other drilled into the concrete, mounting a fire lane sign. Karen stood on the sidewalk behind them, phone out, making little hand motions. No labor. All orders. "Stop," I said. "You're not permitted here." The painter hesitated, then looked past me to her. One of them said they had a work order from the association. I asked for the number and repeated it for the camera, filmed the truck logo, the plate, the foreman's name. I pointed to my survey marker. Bright flags, clear as day. "That's my frontage," I said. Karen smirked. "Your paperwork doesn't negate safety," she said. "It negates you," I said, and called my attorney. Up until that point, I'll be honest, I was tired. I was angry. And there was a moment standing there with wet red paint drying in front of my house where I wondered if I was wrong, if I'd missed something, if fighting this would just swallow time and money and peace. That's how people like her win, not by being right, by being exhausting. Terry didn't raise her voice. She never does. "Do you have her directing vendors on video?" she asked. "Yes." "Good. Don't argue. Send it. Then we go procedural." We sent written trespass notices to the contractors and certified letters to the HOA's registered agent. Tracking numbers saved. Receipts logged. Karen responded with her favorite weapon, a PDF dressed up like destiny. An email from something calling itself the Emergency Access Compliance Unit. Daily penalties. Attached covenant enforcement notice stamped like county paperwork. Designed to make me believe my title was already compromised. I didn't debate it. I preserved it. Headers saved. Attachment saved. Arrival time logged. Terry pulled 3 records in parallel. City permit logs. Complaint history. County recorder index for my parcel. Certified copies, not screenshots. The city came back clean. No permit. No designation. The covenant existed, but it told on itself. Filed after my closing. Notary commission number didn't match an active record. Signer traced back to a shell entity tied to an HOA vendor mailbox, a false instrument, manufactured authority. Karen didn't know we had it yet, so she went for spectacle. Tuesday morning, she showed up with a tow truck and a city code officer. My car was parked in my driveway. Nothing blocked anything. The tow driver slid the hook under my axle. Karen spoke in that smooth, performative voice. "You've been warned. Your refusal endangers emergency access." I asked the code officer for the incident reference number and the legal basis for towing from private property under a disputed HOA claim. He blinked. Karen cut in louder, talking over him, talking at me, talking for the show. I filmed everything. The hook, the badge, her face, the red curb. And then the deputy arrived. He took one look and asked one question. "Who authorized this tow?" "I did," Karen said too fast. He held up a hand. "HOA is not law enforcement. Who told this driver he could hook a vehicle on private property?" Terry stepped beside me and handed him 2 documents. Certified recorder printout. Notary verification. He read them. The code officer stared at the permit log like someone realizing the floor had vanished. The deputy's voice stayed calm. "Ma'am, directing unauthorized work and filing false instruments is serious. Step back." The tow driver didn't wait. He unhooked my car and lowered it with a dull thump that sounded like control hitting pavement. The deputy gave me a report number. I read it into the camera. That afternoon, Terry filed for an injunction. No contact, no vendors, no signage, no communications to city departments about my address except through counsel. 2 days later, the judge granted it. The city closed the violation. The fraudulent covenant was flagged and corrected. Contractors returned without Karen grinding off the red paint, patching the concrete, restoring my frontage. The HOA quietly stripped her of enforcement authority and barred her from serving again. No apology, no announcement, just silence where power used to be. A week later, the street was plain concrete again. My driveway was just mine. I sat on the porch as the sun dropped behind the roofs, scrolling once more through the evidence folder. Timestamps, case numbers, receipts. It wasn't dramatic. It was protection. Power only works when people believe in it. Stay calm, document everything, and let the system do the hitting.